Well, good morning and welcome back to Cityline. I mentioned during our opening about the America's Car Museum, also known as Lemay America's Car Museum, one of my favorite places in Tacoma to go. And it has to do with the nostalgia, the beauty, the masterpieces, and also just how deeply cars are embedded into how we live, the psyche. So we have someone who on the couch today who's going to talk about his history with cars and also what is new at our fabulous car museum. Gary Yamamoto, Executive Director, America's Car Museum. Welcome to Cityline.
Thank you, Amanda. I'm glad to be here.
It's great to have you here. This is your first time on the comfy couch.
It is, and it is very comfy.
Isn't it, though?
Thank you.
It's good. So we were in the green room, just kind of getting to know each other, and I asked what your background was that would have led you to this point in your career, and you told me an amazing story that just means that you've got car blood in your veins. So
Right.
Would you share with our audience your background?
Sure. I mean, I got my interest in cars way back when my dad was a future car designer for Ford.
Wow.
Back in the late 60s, early 70s, yeah. So that's where my love started, and, you know, it was interesting to see the designs that he created. And, you know, it was frustrating for him because they said, your cars are too way out there. They're never going to happen, right? But you look at cars today, they look very similar to what he was doing. So I'm fortunate enough to have a number of his designs
Wow.
in my office today.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Next time I'm down there, I'm going to go, okay,
Yeah.
which ones are your dad's? Yeah.
Yeah.
That is impressive. So speaking of also impressive things, the museum recently celebrated its 10-year anniversary. That's gone by so quickly.
It has for the museum, and it's such a huge milestone.
Yes.
And I want to thank all the people who have come and supported Cityline specifically. I mean, you were there for the groundbreaking.
We were.
And the opening.
Yes.
And, you know, it was a momentous 10 years, and now we're looking forward to the next 10.
Yes, which when I think about, when I close my eyes and I'm in that museum and I'm walking down the layers, I often think in terms of curation and rotation, that this is a village that you operate. So speaking of that, what do you currently have on display right now that you want to give us a little taste of?
Well, yeah, there's a lot in the museum.
There
People don't
is.
realize it's 165,000 square feet, 4 floors that are the size of pretty much a football field.
Hours of family fun.
Yeah. We're really excited right now because, like, on the showcase floor, which is our first floor, we have the Porsche 75th anniversary. So beautiful collection of
Yes.
Porsches from local collectors here
Wow.
in the Northwest. And then on the other end of the showcase gallery, we have the Lemay Legacy Collection.
Yes.
So that's exciting. And then we also have a master collector. So every year we select a master collector to feature. And during that year, that master collector gets to showcase their collection of cars.
Ooh.
So it's, you know, there's plenty of different cars for people to see and enjoy throughout the year.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, we're in for like 10 days of fabulous weather, and many, many times, regardless of what the weather is, that parking lot is always packed full of people from far and wide, all over the world come to see these cars. I mean, they make their vacation around it. So it's officially the full first day of summer. So what do we have on tap that we can maybe tease some people with?
We have a lot going on this summer. We're super excited about it. We have our cruising events, which allows people with nice cars, collectors and non-collectors, to bring their car down to the museum after hours and share their cars with other people. You don't even have to have a nice car. You come down and appreciate the cars that are there. We've got our drive-in movies, which I'm really excited
Yes.
about, right? We have the big showcase field, 3 acres. People bring back memories of going to the drive-in.
Absolutely.
So our first one is July 7th, and we have the movie Cars showing. And then later in the month, we have Super Mario Brothers. So.
Okay.
And then we also have Take a Spin, which I don't know if you're familiar with.
No, what is that?
Yeah, it's a program where people can come down and ride in a Model A. or a Studebaker or a convertible Mustang. So yeah, so they get to come down and take advantage of that. And then we also have our signature Cars and Cigars event, which is for the people who enjoy both of those.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Because sometimes they go together, don't they?
Yes.
Absolutely. So when we think about education, because America's Car Museum, to me, that is all about history within that big silver dome barn. Don't quote me on that.
Yes.
But it is education. So when we think about those programs that are currently available, I could imagine that America's Car Museum, if they had a summer camp, it would be sold out.
We do have a summer camp.
There we go.
Yep, there we go. In July, we have summer camps for 6th grade through 9th graders.
Okay.
So yeah, there's definite interest in that. So I think there's a few spots available left, but they fill up fast.
I bet.
We have a lot of programs, educational programs for all ages there. You know, story time reading. We have STEAM Day, which is the third Saturday. Families can come down and experience, you know, STEM type events within the museum, interact with the cars. So, you know, those are all things that we pride ourselves on providing from an educational standpoint.
Absolutely.
Because I agree with you, you know, the history and heritage of the automobile is super important.
It is.
You know, and it's important to share that with the generations to come.
It is. I mean, when you think about, I mean, coming around that bend, I often see so many school buses in that parking lot, and I'm so grateful and thankful that America's Car Museum is there telling these stories, because those are stories beyond their time. Yes. I mean, when you think about, I'll take myself for example, you know, you put me into a brand new car. I recently had to figure out how to start a car with a button.
Yes.
And I felt like my grandparents. What is that? You know, and so, but for them, you know, somebody who is just being born today, that is their reality. So to look back at that car, the history of Toyota or the history of a Prius, and even to tie it with, as you said, your dad knew those kind of shapes would be in the future, and here we are.
Right.
But the history of those cars is so important.
It's truly important. I mean, another example is my daughter, I showed her one of the cars and they had the roll-up windows.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know, you remember all the time the windows.
Roll your window down.
Yeah, and she said, what's that, right?
What's that?
You know, that's totally foreign to them.
Oh, yeah, little ashtrays.
But, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's important to share how the cars have evolved and how innovation has been driven by the automobile.
Yeah, and the automobile is a connector to community and culture.
It is.
The conversation that your father had with you in your car is different than the conversation my father had with me. And the station wagon with all the kids in the back going to go see grandma, that is a book waiting to be written.
Right.
As a matter of fact, you should ask your members to do that. Speaking of members, memberships. Can we buy memberships?
For sure.
Okay.
There's membership levels for anybody, whether you're an individual to a family member. We also have Club Auto for auto enthusiasts, so it's a little more robust. And you know, if you're a Club Auto member, you can even pay to store your collector car in the museum.
So if I'm storing my collector car in the museum, can I also host a private event?
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the things that the museum is known for.
Yeah.
You know, as being in the museum, you know, the view from the showcase gallery out over the bay there is tremendous.
The acoustics are amazing.
Yeah. So we have everything from proms to weddings to corporate events. And there's a variety of spaces, you know, again, in the museum to the showcase field.
Yeah.
So the field, in fact, in July, we have some concerts that are being played out on the field.
Get out the blanket and the picnic basket and let the fun begin.
Yeah.
So I want to adjust our focus for these last few minutes here to what you have in store toward the end of 2023, because, you know, that's when people are back from vacations, we're back from school, and we're ready to, like, you know, do something on the weekends.
Well, the good thing as the fall comes around is we got a new exhibit opening in the fall, in October, a Corvette exhibit.
Oh,
So it's going to be a little different than the normal Corvette exhibit. That's all I can share right now.
okay.
But it's going to be exciting. And then also, too, we're launching our Car Stories program, which is stories from behind the wheel. So as you know, all of our cars in the museum are beautiful.
Yes.
But it's amazing the interesting and stories that are behind some of the cars. And so we want to share those with people. So we're going to be launching that in September. And then every year we're going to be adding more cars to that program. But
Wow.
our hope is that people will connect at a higher level with our cars and the museum, and that it also spurs conversation within the party that is enjoying their stay at the museum.
Absolutely. I mean, I just, the older I get, the more I treasure the conversations that happened in my life, either when I was in the back seat, I was in the front seat, I was learning to drive. And now that I'm a parent, you know, I understand now that all serious conversations happen in the car.
Right.
So you just,
Right.
you got to really pause. But I'd love to have someone say, yeah, you know, my child questioned me about this as we're both looking at the station wagon together
Right.
in America's
Right.
Car Museum. So
Right.
it brings people together, doesn't it?
It
really
does.
does, Gary. I mean, if food is the great uniter, then cars are appetizers
Yeah.
because everybody has a car story.
They do, and you know, people don't realize how much of a car enthusiast they are until they come down to the museum,
Yes.
right, and see the variety of cars and enjoy the unique differences from each one.
Exactly. And to see the evolution of it. Too.
Exactly, yeah.
So impressive.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to you and your amazing team. Of course, we could not get on the couch, and you did wear socks, didn't you? You were.
I did, not as fancy as.
Oh, they're polka dots.
They're
Dots
polka
are
dots.
good. We like dots. And thank you for all that you give us in this community. And I want to have you back on the couch and a couple of your superstars real soon.
Yes, we'd enjoy that.
All
Thank you,
right.
Amanda.
Our final fabulous segment is on its way. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.